Before the moon became divine, darkness ruled the Stone Age world. Nights stretched endlessly, echoing with the growls of unseen beasts. Fire was humankind's only fortress, a trembling circle of light in an ocean of black. Each spark felt like borrowed life against the endless night. Above them, the sky loomed vast and silent, its stars distant and cold. Yet, amid the fear, a strange curiosity stirred. They began to gaze upward, sensing patterns in the void, unaware that the heavens were about to answer. One cold night, sparks rose from a fading fire as a pale glow crept over the horizon. The tribe fell silent. A silver disk climbed higher, its light spilling over faces, carving shadows that moved like spirits. Someone whispered, "The sky has opened its eye." Fear rippled through the group. Even the hunters bowed their heads. Yet the light didn't harm. It watched, slowly, or replaced terror. The moon drifted across the heavens, alive, deliberate, eternal. That night, humanity felt the sky awaken, and for the first time, wonder eclipsed fear. Over many nights, the tribe began to see the moon's rhythm, its fading and return, its shifting faces. They named each form after spirits and beasts. A full moon meant safety and success in the hunt. Its absence brought fear, silence, and loss. Slowly, they understood. This light followed rules. Its rhythm was the world's first pattern, a silent language written in the sky. Through it, they discovered time, memory, and order. In the moon's calm glow, humanity found meaning, a bridge between chaos and understanding. Then came a night of blood and fear. The moon dimmed before their eyes, devoured by an unseen shadow. Terror swept through the tribe. Fires were fed. Voices rose in desperate chants to call the light back. Smoke curled toward the heavens, a plea to the sky. And when the moon returned, glowing once more, they believed they had saved it. From that moment, it became more than light. It was alive, merciful, and listening. The first belief was born beneath a crimson sky. Around the campfire, the shaman rose, his skin painted with ash and bone. Flames flickered in his eyes as he whispered, "The moon chooses every birth, storm, and death now carried lunar purpose." The tribe bowed, believing the sky itself watched them. No longer was the moon mere light. It was law. Their god was silent yet ever present, a judge above the flames. From that night, every upward glance sought meaning in its cold, eternal gaze dot in the vast silence of the prehistoric world. There were no calendars, no clocks, only the moon. Each night it rose, changed and vanished, guiding the rhythms of hunting, birth, and survival. Under its soft glow, early humans began to see patterns. The full moon brought successful hunts. Its darkness brought unease. Slowly, its cycle became the pulse of existence, a silent teacher marking the flow of time. In caves and valleys, crescents were carved beside animals, not as art, but as gratitude. The first whispers of faith had begun, written in light, not words. On the wide plains where moonlight turned night into silver day, the tribes began to dance. Feet struck the earth in unison with the rhythm of the sky. The ritual wasn't yet religion, it was survival. Women traced the moon's shifting face with stones, counting its phases as they counted life itself. Men painted crescents on their weapons, believing its glow guarded their hunts. Each firelight song echoed the waxing and waning above. The moon became their pulse, their teacher, their silent companion. These dances were more than worship. They were humanity's first dialogue with nature, a plea for balance between earth, body, and sky. Then came terror. One night, as songs rose beneath the stars, the moon began to fade. Its glowing face dimmed, swallowed by creeping shadow. Cries shattered the stillness. The moon was dying. A mother's scream echoed as she gave birth, her child's first cry joining the chorus of fear. The shaman threw herbs into the fire, shouting to feed the starving sky. Smoke rose, thick and desperate. They danced, wailed, begged, and then light returned. The moon reappeared, whole and shining. Relief turned to reverence. To them, the heavens had answered. That night, fear became faith. The moon was alive, a divine presence, watching, listening, choosing dot in the moons that followed. Ritual became law. At every full moon, fires blazed with animal fat and fragrant roots, their smoke rising like whispers toward the heavens. Shamans, faces marked with crescents, read the moon's light for omens of rain or ruin. Celebrations aligned with its pulse, every glow, every shadow a message. And when the moon turned red, they believed the sky itself was breathing. Beneath that haunting light, ritual became something greater, part science, part prayer. Humanity's first astronomers were not scholars, but dreamers watching smoke climb toward the stars. When dawn returned, the tribe no longer saw the moon as distant light, but as a teacher. It had shown them rhythm, balance, and return, the pattern of life itself. Its waxing and waning became the pulse of existence, guiding birth, death, and harvest. They carved its shape into stone, not as worship, but remembrance. The moon had spoken in silence, and humanity, for the first time, had learned to listen in the frozen silence of the Stone Age night. The moon would vanish, swallowed by darkness, only to return, glowing anew. To early humans, this was not chance but revelation. They saw in its disappearance the mystery of their own mortality, and in its return, the promise of renewal. Each phase became a sacred message, life, death, and rebirth woven into the sky. Around their fires, this belief took root, that the soul, like the moon, could never truly die. Even in darkness, it waited, destined to rise again. Archaeologists uncover Stone Age graves brushed with red ochre, the color of blood, birth, and moonlight. Bodies lie facing east, awaiting the first spark of dawn. To those ancient tribes, these burials were not farewell, but faith made visible. The red dust symbolized life's return, echoing the moon's own death and rebirth. Each grave became a reflection of the sky above. When the moon vanished, so did the soul. When it returned, so did hope. In this sacred symmetry, humanity learned to give shape to grief. Death was no longer an ending. It was a threshold painted in red, leading back to light. One winter night, beneath a sky without a moon, a young hunter fell during the chase. His tribe found him still and cold, his final breath fading into the wind. They buried him carefully, marking his grave with bones curved like crescents. For 3 nights, the heavens remained empty, the tribe silent in grief. But when the first thin crescent returned, they sang to the sky, believing his spirit had journeyed through the moon's shadow and been reborn in its light. In that belief, death lost its finality. The moon had become a bridge, a celestial companion guiding souls home. Then came the night the heavens turned against them. The full moon darkened, glowing red like spilled blood. Terror gripped the tribe. They believed monsters of shadow were devouring their ancestors' souls. Fires roared to life, drums thundered, and voices cried out to save the dying light. Smoke curled upward, desperate prayers in motion. And then the moon returned, whole again. Relief became revelation. From that night onward, they buried their dead with weapons and gifts, tools for the journey beyond. The moon had revealed its secret. Death was not an end, but a passage through shadow. To early humans, the moon was alive. It breathed through the tides, whispering to the oceans and pulling at the edges of their world. Along distant coasts, tribes watched the water rise and fall with its glow. Fish appeared when it was full, vanished when it waned. This pattern could not be coincidence. It was command. The moon ruled from above, unseen yet absolute. Humanity began to understand. The sky was not silent. It moved, it spoke. It shaped the rhythm of survival itself along the coasts. Small tribes began to watch the sea breathe. At every moon phase, they marked the stones where tides rose and fell. Over time, these marks became memory, the first record of cause and effect between earth and sky. Hunters learned when fish would return, when shellfish would surface, when the sea would rest. They called it the pull of the spirit above. To them, the moon's rhythm was alive, a force that moved both water and fate. Humanity had begun decoding the heavens, predicting the heartbeat of the natural world. As curiosity deepened, wonder became devotion. On windswept plains, tribes raised stones into circles, aligning them with the moon's rising and setting points. Fires roared when it reached its peak, casting dancing shadows across carved crescents. These were no accidents. They were observatories born from awe. Each flicker of flame, each shifting shadow, became a message from the heavens. Under the moon's gaze, gatherings turned sacred, half ceremony, half calculation. Long before Stonehenge, these circles whispered humanity's first revelation. The moon governed not only hearts, but the very movement of the earth itself. One night, a storm raged across the plains. Thunder split the sky, and the moon vanished behind a shroud of cloud. Rivers swelled, tearing through the land like serpents of fury. When calm returned, the shaman spoke. The moon was angry. His words became law. From that night, every flood, drought, and fire was tied to the moon's moods. Offerings were made beneath its glow, food, flame, and song, to soothe its wrath. The moon was no longer a guide. It had become a god as centuries passed. Far-flung tribes who would never meet still bowed to the same light. From African savannas to Asian valleys, the moon ruled above all tongues and borders. Its glow was constant, its pull eternal. It moved oceans, stirred seasons, and shaped belief itself. In its rhythm, humanity found unity, a shared pulse between heaven and earth. The moon had become our first universal god, binding the world beneath one luminous sky. As the Ice Age waned, the moon transformed from spirit to system. Along the fertile banks of the Tigris and the Nile, early farmers watched its phases and learned its secret rhythm. Each cycle foretold floods, migrations, and harvests, the pulse of life itself. The moon became a divine calendar, its light dividing labor from rest, planting from reaping. With every waxing and waning, the earth seemed to breathe in time with it. Humanity had turned belief into understanding, faith into measurement. In ancient Mesopotamia, stone ziggurats reached for the sky, their steps aligned with the moon's sacred path. From their heights, priests charted its movements, reading purpose in every rise, eclipse, and return. In Egypt, Khonsu wore the crescent as his crown, the traveler's protector, the harvester's blessing. In India, Chandra's light was purity itself, the pulse of fertility and time. Across distant lands, temples mirrored one truth: the moon was law, not mystery. Chaos had given way to order. The heavens now ruled with rhythm and design. With temples rose knowledge. The keepers of the moon became scholars. Priests turned scientists, charting its rhythm with patient precision. On clay tablets in Ur and Babylon, they etched numbers and symbols, capturing the dance of months, tides, and eclipses. The moon no longer ruled by myth alone. It governed calendars, trade, and law. Festivals and harvests obeyed its light. From faith emerged mathematics, humanity's first bridge between wonder and reason. Civilization now moved to a single rhythm, the heartbeat of the heavens. As city-states flourished, kings began to claim descent from the moon itself. They called themselves sons of the moon, rulers ordained by the heavens. Silver, the moon's metal, gleamed on crowns and altars, a symbol of divine favor. Ceremonies timed to the full moon displayed power and cosmic harmony. Authority was no longer earthly, it was celestial. The moon, once a tribe's silent guide, had become the foundation of empire, the light that justified rule across the ancient world. In the end, we return to the firelight of the Stone Age. Above it, the same moon still watches, unchanged, eternal. Once feared, now measured. Once worshipped, now understood. Beneath its glow, humanity learned to dream, to build, to believe. The moon was never just a god. It was our reflection, our first mirror in the sky.